Today we're honored to join thousands of people from all over the world, and we would like to welcome everyone to the event, Society, The Last Chance. This unique event is the first of its kind, uniting thousands of people from all over the world in live communication for the first time in human history. And this is being conducted on the platform of ALLATRA, International Public Movement. We would like to thank everyone for coming, and we would like to say that today we are being heard all over the world, and we have over 100 countries connected to us online. And each one of these countries has hundreds of people gathered together in conference halls. These are people of different nationalities, religion, social status, and age, and we will hear from them today.
Society, the last chance. Global unification of people from all over the world, of different nationalities, religions, and social status. International online conference of a new format. You decide what the world of tomorrow will be like, a consumer, finite, or a creative, new one. Searching for answers to the questions, are we free people or are we slaves? What do we people want, life or death? How should we live all together in peace and harmony? There is a way out. Society, the last chance, within framework of Universal Grain Game of Professionals project, on the basis of International Public Movement, ALLATRA.
We would like to start by saying that we are honored that this is being conducted in the United States of America, because this is the place where we can raise crucial and important issues and discuss them openly and honestly without being afraid. And this is the merit and an achievement of every American in the United States as a whole. This is the true greatness of the United States, because here we have the freedom of speech and freedom of choice. Who, better than us, the American people, can bring up the question of people consolidation, peace, love, and friendship? America is the world-leading country, not only in economy and international law, but most importantly, in spiritual power. And we have the right to bring up these crucial topics and discuss them openly. And who better than us can lead the world society to peace and unity and start supporting the positive change in modern humanity? And I would like to say that this format of global and international upbringing by people themselves of critical issues will not only make America great again, but it will make America greater. And today, we are proud that in this format, for the first time in human history, we're able to open this discussion and to have this global international conference.
The Universal Grain is a unique, fundamental social research project conducted by participants of ALLATRA International Public Movement from around the globe. It is the most significant project in history because it really shows common, humane values which are in the basis of all cultures and all religions. And right now, we will watch a short video about Universal Grain.
The Universal Grain, a fundamental social research project by ALLATRA International Public Movement. Unique, one of a kind, international social research initiated and carried out by people themselves. in more than 140 countries of the globe. People of various nationalities, religions, and occupations all over the world join this large-scale research. Collaborative research, translations, international interviews, sociological surveys, web conferences, video comments by scientists and experts from different countries of the world, international cooperation and mutual understanding. The common goal: to reveal the universal grain of spiritual knowledge by studying common primordial spiritual grains from primary sources of world religions and scientific works, to find possibilities and options in leveling manifestations of the spiritual and moral crisis in the context of globalization, to show the characteristics of the spirit of unity and the contradictions of consciousness in the spiritual heritage of human civilization, to find the common social and spiritual moral factors of consolidating the world community. What is the meaning of the human's life? What lies at the foundation of all religions and sacred scriptures of the world? What unites all people on earth? Large-scale research conducted by the participants of ALLATRA International Public Movement based on the keys of the primordial knowledge. People from all over the world share their innermost feelings about the spiritual truth. What main choice faces humanity and each person today? In the video, The Universal Grain, Part 1, The Choice.
And such a result of social research brought us to one important question. How is that we, all people, want peace, love, compassion, and friendship? Yet we do absolutely opposite. We hate and kill. What is happening in the world today? What are the geopolitical realities? Global wars, conflicts based on the personal interest of a few, persecution of one nation by another, one human by another, religious conflicts, terrorism, active development of atomic weapon with which we ourselves, with our own hands, preparing to kill each other. How is this happening? What is the reason that in reality, deep inside, we all want love and happiness, but at the same time, we act inhumanly, violently, and animal-like? If we want love, then why do we hate? What stops us from living in peace? What are we missing? What don't we understand? What don't we see? Who is dictating hostility and death? Our main goal for today is to discuss and uncover the answers to all of these questions.
Today, global economic, geopolitical, and climatic events are an indication that our society is on the brink of a collapse. Today, everyone knows that the clock is already 2 minutes to midnight, where midnight is the complete destruction of our society. Today, our society is closer than ever to the point of self-destruction, either through the use of nuclear weapons or as a result of climatic cataclysms. How did we get to this crucial and critical point? We were led here by the structure of our society, consumerism. And right now, I would like to yield the floor to Ms. Natanya Zales.
A question arises: what is consumption? Consumption is an advanced, improved form of slavery. Consumption stimulates. We work, we earn, we buy, we pay. And then even more things come up for us to buy. We go to the store to buy milk, and we leave with a full cart. We buy huge houses that we cannot afford. Drowning in debt, we compete with those with better houses, better cars, better jewelry. in the pursuit to prove our importance in this game, we lose ourselves as people, and we pay with our lives, with our very important time and attention. We work more, and we pay for the best, and then we hit a dead end. When a person plays the game of consumption, day after day after day, they become the game, because the game replaces our human nature. Are we forgetting our own human nature? A consumer society separates and divides. It separates us into nations and states and cities with many boundaries and borders. But are we getting tired of this game? I'm happy that in today's society, there are examples such as ALLATRA, the ALLATRA movement, which exhibits a very different model of unification and interaction with people, where it doesn't matter what nationality you are, what language you speak, what religion you practice, what political system you play in. What matters is that, what's really important is that we are people with true human values. The participants of ALLATRA International Movement voluntarily, of their own free will, together with a huge number of friends and family around the world, contribute to the strengthening of true human values in our society. Values like love and kindness. When people live with ALLATRA, internal ALLATRA in humanity, there are no barriers to relationships and interactions. This is a very positive example of a creative society.
Thank you, Natanya. And right now, we will give the word to Czech Republic. Gabriela from Czech Republic.
I would like to send very kind and warm greetings from Czech Republic. I would like to say a couple of more words about the consumer society. We ourselves actually made up this game. And everyone is suffering, but everyone keeps on playing. But this game is deadly, as we can see, because consumer society generates what? Crime, corruption, disrespect for each other, and devalues human lives. And the economy is based on consumption. And the more we pay, the more money in crisis, more frequent and more stronger. And because in consumer society, crises are actually inevitable. The soap bubble is inflated and will soon burst, either by itself or, as it happened before, the climatic events will put an end to it. Today, we see consumerism everywhere, in relations between countries, in relations between each other, between friends and relatives. All spheres of life and our entire civilization is actually permeated by consumption towards each other. Yes, ignition of normal human relationships does occur, but they quickly fade away. People recognize that the system of consumer society has come to a dead end. And we need to do something. We need to act and change it quickly. To change these principles and rules, right now really is such a chance. Thank you very much, and I give word back to Atlanta.
Thank you very much, Gabriela. Thank you so much, everybody from Czech Republic. I totally agree with you. And I also believe that consumer society has reached its peak already. And right now, we as a society have very, very big chance to change something. Recently, I watched one very interesting program on ALLATRA TV. It's called Gaming Addiction of the System. And it was told there that people and scientists around the world started to see that something is happening. So people already around the globe don't believe those lies that we hear from the mass media, because they understand right now, they can see clearly that this is just tools to manipulate us. And right now, people not only see it, but they're also starting to talk openly about it. And that's a really good sign. That means that we as a society can make the change right now. And choose the right path for us and for our children. Path towards creation, towards happiness and peace.
To continue your speech, I would like to give the word to Mr. Robbie Wells, Ambassador and spokesperson for the International Human Rights Peace Commission.
Thank you, Olga. Hello, ALLATRA. Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia. It truly is an honor to be here today. Our world is in tremendous trouble, and she needs our help. Recently, 300 of the world's top scientists came out with a report saying that if we, as a human race, do not make some changes, then the effects of global warming are going to cause millions of people to lose their lives and billions of dollars to be lost in everyone's economy. This problem is not about the black race or the white race. This problem is not about the Asian race or the Hispanic race. This problem is not about the Indian race or the Native American race. This problem is about the human race. We are one people, so let us all come together now, laying aside our differences, working hand in hand and side by side, and serious people need to step forward with serious solutions. Now, I've seen hate cause a lot of problems in this world, but I've never seen hate solve a problem yet. The only thing that is going to solve a problem is the courage to love, the boldness to love, and the courage to serve. Think about this. The love of a single mother that works a job through the middle of the night just to put food on the table for her children. The love of an overworked and underpaid school teacher that serves her students to prepare them for life. The boldness to love and the courage to serve.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wells. And right now, we would like to give a word to Malena from Venezuela.
We know that it's not a secret anymore, that the mass media is publicizing a lot of negative news. Why? Well, because they are easy to sell. Mass media is very manipulative. It's manipulative our society to behave and be shaped in certain ways, especially to consumerism or to different interest groups. And we are realizing this right now, and a proof of it is that thousands of people are gathering here today to talk about all these topics. And in order to be able to change this reality, we know that we have to change and break with all behavior patterns in order to be able to make a change in the society and for everyone. But we need to start from ourselves.
Thank you, Milena. Next, we'll hear from Dilyara Khatykhova from Kazan. And for 22 years, Dilyara worked as a sales director of TV channels.
For example, how does a TV channel understand whether a product is in demand or not? The ratings show this. The more people have watched it, the better. Development of competition led to creation of emotionally disturbing products. And so we're now consuming these distressing shows like horror movies and weepy soap operas. Is this a real picture of our life? Well, I would say no, right? It turns out that in pursuit of our attention and time, mass media constantly produce particularly this kind of product, which we then project onto our reality and become dramatic, sometimes making a mountain of a molehill. and often emotionally devastating ourselves. That is, we spend energy, time, attention, life on something that is empty, that doesn't exist in reality. Mass media is a business, and it's a demand-driven business.
And now it is my pleasure to give a word to Josna Hedge, a city news editor and MRI Pulse.
Basically, I'm here to talk about how journalism can be used for more peaceful purposes. Journalism, in its simplest form, is a way to inform people. Maybe they can use this information for simple things in their daily life, or maybe they can use it to make informed decisions, in the communities that they live in. Crux of the problem arises when there is a conflict and somebody tries to report something about this conflict. This has a potential to sort of lead to violence, and research has shown that the reports about conflict often has value bias towards violence. So what can be done about this? In today's reporting, we see mostly bias, and people don't worry about the psychological effects it can have about the report. It's only about the physical effects. So there are different ways in which journalism can be improved. Instead of focusing on the differences, it would be nice, if the reporter sort of focused on the similarities. While reporting, it's important to sort of focus on the solution, the cause and the ramifications of what has happened. So in general, journalism that's unbiased and sort of brings people together is the kind of journalism that would bring about more peace and sort of aligns with what ALLATRA is trying to do, to focus on the similarities. And it's not about who is going to get defeated. It's about achieving a common goal in as peaceful way as possible.
And right now, we will actually move on to Slovakia, and we will hear from Ranka from Slovakia.
So, hello everybody. Many greetings to excellence and whole world from Slovakia, from Bratislava. I have been working many years, more than 10 years, in the field of public relations. I was putting people together from media, from companies, in order they found the mutual understanding. A few months ago, I started to act as a volunteer journalist in TV ALLATRA and monthly magazine Pohoda. We made a lot of interviews, and from these talks and discussions, we see that every person, the people, don't want to see hatred and negativity in the media. If we want to change society, first of all, we should change the content in the media, because the media create the opinion and reality of society. And I think that there should be more than 90% of whole media content, good news, love, friendship, understanding. We as a journalist, we should find new ways how to depict, how to show the news, find other ways how to act like humans. So dear fellow journalists who can hear me now, please, let's ourselves think about the following questions and try to find answers to that. How we as media can depict the news so they don't promote negativity, hatred. How to stimulate peaceful, not competitive nature in the media. How to show other cultures in a positive way in order people we can put together, not divide them. Create positive society. It all starts with us. So let's act positive way. Let's be responsible and not be silent.
Thank you very much, Ranka.
We know that formula, there is no supply without demand. And we need to understand that we, consumer, is the one who creates demand. If we don't want to have negative, depressing, dishonor news on the media, so stop watching it, turn it off, and never even talk about this. Because we understand that we people, we learn on imitation. So why don't we show a good example? The best people that we have doing really good deed for us, for society, for their countries.
These are the examples we should be showing on TV.
Continue that. We're going to hear from Natalia Hannity from Canada.
It is important for us to understand how actions cause a reaction. For example, if a journalist is directed to write an article that contains negative, depressing information, then that journalist should also realize that a single negative article has to be offset by at least 10 positive ones. Because today, we don't fully understand what consequences we will face tomorrow from the negative thoughts, emotions, and actions that are portrayed in such articles, and what chain of events will occur from such articles. It could potentially create a wave of negativity that circles around the world and, in the end, returns back to the journalist himself and his children. And if someone writes a dishonest article because of a momentary benefit, then that person puts the future of his children and grandchildren under question. After all, what are journalists doing today? Well, they're promoting violence. And the results of this we see in our families and in our society. So it is important for us to stop this now before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Natalia. And right now, we will start a different topic from Olga Simpson.
Yes, Natalia, I totally agree with you. This question is very accurate. And today I would like to draw our attention to the question of domestic violence. How often does it happen? And why, when we see it, we keep being silent about it? The recent video on АЛЛАТРА TV was a story of a woman who was enslaved by her husband and her father. This story is a life story of Lisa Shelkova. She told her story about slavery and the way she got free from it. The story touched me to the bottom of my heart. It brought me to understand why such shameful things like that happen, because we, the society, who become observers, such situations are silent. We know that things like this happen in our families, with our friends, co-workers and neighbors. And we keep being silent about this. And we should not. We should speak. We should reveal it and expose. Lisa in this video was a great example for me. She spoke up very decent and human way, without blaming people who did it to her life, without hate or revenge towards them. Her story was full of understanding and freedom, in the truest sense of this world. So, right now, I address to all of us who present here. By here, I mean hundreds of places and thousands of people around the world. Don't be silent. Please, watch this video and share it with your family, friends, neighbors, co-workers. It can truly help. It can change not only their destiny, it can change the destiny of our society, of our civilization. It can truly help one more personality to get salvation from slavery. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. I watched that video as well, and it definitely will help many get free. Like you said, I agree. And right now, we will hear from Teya from Kyiv, Ukraine. Teya is the coordinator of the project, No Violence in the Family and the Society.
Thank you, and greetings from Coordination Center of ALLATRA International Public Movement in Kyiv, Ukraine. We are very grateful for this opportunity to take part in such first-in-a-history event for our whole civilization on such large scale. Today we would like to tell you about the new project, which was based on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, the project No to Violence in the Family and Society. So the beginning of this project was the story, the video, by one of the participants of ALLATRA movement. This is Liza Shelkova, about whom Olga has just spoken about. The story of Liza, this is a great example. This is a great example of the way out of such a problem as a tyranny. And her story, it caused a wide resonance and lively response from people all over the world. And we understand the importance to raise this topic on a global scale, because the problem of tyranny, it concerns the whole society and each of us. So now we just suggest to watch the video, brief announcement of the project No to Violence in the Family and Society.
The international social project No to Violence in the Family and Society, with support of ALLATRA International Public Movement and of all good people. There is a way out. Do not be silent. How to become free and happy. Watch the story of my slavery on ALLATRA TV.
What is important and what is valuable, that Liza, she experienced a lot of hardships in her life, but still she found the courage and she found love inside herself to find the way out. And we believe that people all over the world, they should know the solutions, they should know the way out. And we believe that this is very important to show the positive experience of people from different countries of the world, so all people could know the solutions of this problem. And this is actually what we are going to popularize in our new project, No to Violence in the Family and Society. So violence is unacceptable in the society which strives for civilized way of life, which is based on human values. And we should not be silent. We should actually call scams by their proper names, so that the society would show that this is an appropriate attitude. When we are also raising the topic of violence, it is also important to realize the root of the problem. And the root of the problem, this is actually the consumer vector of the modern society. And this is actually reflected everywhere. This is reflected starting from the humiliating own child in a family and to destruction of weak countries by strong ones. But weakness has a hidden power. It is love. And Liza's story, it shows us how to escape from tyranny with the help of human values and with the help of love. And these values, this what every one of us, what the whole humanity should discover inside of themselves. As after all, freedom and happiness, this is actually possible not only for one person, but this is possible for the whole humanity, for each one of us. And we believe that together we can do a lot. This is a small step of one person and a big step, even a huge leap for our whole humanity. So together we can do a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tay. It's a very important project today. And right now, we will hear from Dr. Nazira Dawood.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here this morning, and I couldn't wait for the opportunity to speak this morning. I already know many of the friends out there, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thank you for all of us being here today as well. And I can start with statistics on domestic violence, right? So child abuse, 1 in 3 girls or 1 in 4 boys, or domestic abuse, 1 in 4 women or 1 in 7 men are abused every day throughout the year across the world, right? But I want to tell you a story of this 6-year-old girl. At 6, she promised her mom that she would be a doctor in her family. That's the event she faced was an inappropriate touch by a family member. Her parents didn't know, and it became a common thing. She was too young. She didn't know whom to speak. She grew up. She went to medical school after large obstacles. She became a doctor. She married and realized her relationship was not working. She didn't know what a normal relationship looked like. She thought submissive to men was normal. That's what our culture taught us. That's what my parents taught. No matter what, it will be your husband. You have to serve him. She was very openly ridiculed by her partner, but nobody came to rescue. Nobody, because that was none of their business. That's when she decided she will stand up for herself. The day she decided that this is the new Nazira who is going to help the woman in her who has suffered in submissiveness, is going to come out and be strong and be courageous and stand up for others.
Thank you so much, Nazira. Thank you for your story. It is my pleasure to introduce next Mr. Manoj Bharat, the Executive Director in the U.S. of Narayan Seva Santan, the international NGO for comprehensive rehabilitation of differently abled.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity, Alatra. From conception of our society, there was never a single day there was not an issue. Sometimes I wonder, is it the survival of the fittest or the survival of the united that has evolved this world? And I think it is the survival of the united. Remaining united and giving helping hand is in our DNA. Doesn't matter which part of the world we domicile. Just like we didn't have to go to school to learn breathe, eat, drink, stand, walk, and speak. Similarly, we are all born with a sense of unity and to give helping hands. And as long as we don't suppress them, our society will always have a chance. We are gathered here across the globe to discuss modern-day issues at global level. And of course, we will need modern ways to remain united and to give helping hands, to implement any resolution or solution that we discussed. Finally, I do recognize Alatra's these efforts and who all have joined here today and across the globe.
Thank you, Manoj. Billions of people are silent. Do not be silent yourself. This doesn't mean that you should start blaming someone or start organizing demonstrations or protests. And who is responsible for these demonstrations? And why do people participate in these protests? Some people get paid for them, others are driven by their ego. It doesn't matter what side we're on. Whether we're on this side, wearing a police uniform, or on the other side, with grenades in our hand. It is all us. We're doing it, people. We are all one, regardless of what side we're on. We're fighting against ourselves. It is just the game of the system. It is our ego that is behind everything that separates us and enslaves us. We need to speak up about the fact that we are all people, and that the only thing that separates us are the thoughts in our head that tell us that we're enemies and that we need to fight each other. We must talk about the best human qualities that should prevail in us. We must show them in the media. And first of all, we must be a good example ourselves to the society.
I would like to continue our large-scale world conference. I have one question. How is it today? There is so much violence in this world and so many problems, severe problems. But we have so many different religions. And after all of them calling for love. How can we have it? Violence and religions at the same time. But in reality, religions today are essentially business. And I'm not talking right now about believers or about teachings. I'm talking about religions as organizations that were created in consumer society. We live in the 21st century, but we still have wars and a consumer format of society. And it is in the presence of religions. Let's take a look. Why do we have it?
The next word goes to Andre Pridnya from Canada.
Let's see what happens with in the orthodoxy. Banditry, human greed, reading, seizures, a banal business. But society just does not see it, does not pay attention. But who creates this? Believers or employees of the organization? It's all done by employees of the organization, not by believers, not by the people who believe in God. Let's see how much faith is declining in Christianity itself. For the first time in so many hundreds of thousands of years, the decline is so unprecedented. Just forgot what to do. As enterprises, religion, organizations, they are inhuman, soulless. They are interested in influencing people masses. As any other organizations, they are interested in income and power. Business organizations cannot be spiritual. And every sane person understands that today it should not be so. As the Universal Grain Project proved, believers from all religions, they are wonderful people. They know one God, they strive for love, for mutual understanding, and for the peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrei. Our next speaker is Dr. Peter Cohen. Dr. Cohen earned his PhD in religion, humanities, and master's in biblical studies.
Thank you. The great religious traditions in our world today share much more in common with one another than the differences which are far too often pointed out by the media and other sources, leaving many focusing on misunderstanding and conflict. Most forget we are all human beings seeking the very same answers about our place in the universe. Unfortunately, those far fewer differences are focused upon in an attempt to try to delineate our neighbors from us. We speak of tolerating the other when we should be rather looking to understand our neighbors, which must begin first by accepting them as fellow humans with passions and visions similar to our own. A former newspaper editor once said to me, "If it bleeds, it leads," referring to stories appearing on the front page, which sensationalizes the news rather than reporting it. We must return to reporting the news rather than using it as entertainment and commentary. We must refer to bridges and gates rather than walls or barriers which separate us from those of different beliefs. For example, each time I teach a class, I ask those in the room how many have read the Quran in its entirety. Not surprisingly, I rarely have even one student or adult present who answers in the affirmative. When I point out that well over 1.5 billion people in the world view this sacred writing as the center of their belief, and I tell them we mustn't simply accept non-Muslims' translations and interpretations of this document, some begin to see the dilemma. However, the situation is far more complex and problematic than even that. Most religious traditions do not read any of the sacred writings from outside of their own community. I include here Jews not reading the New Testament, Christians not reading the Hebrew Bible, Buddhists not reading the Adi Granth, Sikhs not reading the Vedas, and Hindus not reading the Tripitaka. This is only magnified when each of these communities also fail to understand and read their own sacred writings. Many of our politicians today in this country misquote and misunderstand what the United States Constitution has to say about religion. The day after 9/11, reporters stopped congressmen on the steps of the Capitol and asked each of them the same question. Not one of our country's leaders knew what Sunni and Shia Muslims believed would separate them apart from one another, let alone that these sects have been defined by these beliefs for more than 14 centuries, not just a couple of decades. Few Muslims or non-Muslims understand that Sharia law was established to protect the masses from corrupt caliphs and sheikhs, not to harshly discipline them by those in power. So where does that leave us? If we continue to focus on the differences between us, they will continue to define us as strangers to one another. If we refuse to let our neighbors' traditions teach us of their ways, then we are dependent upon others want us to know about our neighbors, not necessarily their true teachings. Every single one of the religious traditions of the world have had their extremists over the years. We mustn't let others define this minority in a sensationalist manner to represent the majority. We must stop defining each others as believers and non-believers, as children of Israel and those of the other nations, as those who are saved and those who are not saved, and as those who submit to the will of Allah and those who are infidels. Our world is getting increasingly smaller due to communication and technological advances. Instead of focusing on those differences which appear to separate us from one another, it's time to open up to one another. And through sharing our common questions, beliefs, and trajectories, we can and must come to see those who have formerly been referred to each other as strangers are actually friends, companions, and fellow human beings in life's journeys. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cohen. Our next speaker is Rizbekova Shamshiya Saidgalievna from Kazakhstan, Doctor of Philosophy, Professor, Lecturer of the Department of Religious Cultural Studies.
Culture and civilization are that basis which determines everything that has been previously mentioned by our speakers. That is, when there is a balance between culture and civilization, it means there's peace. When there is balance, there is unity. If this formula is broken, then those crises which we see all over the world today happen in all forms of manifestation. Every human should remember about spirituality. And everyone, by their deeds, should demonstrate the unity of the world, the principles of morality, justice, and love. That's when we will be able to say that religion will play its part to benefit the people. Thank you for listening.
We're very glad that you can join us at 1 o'clock in the morning right now in Kazakhstan. Yeah, so thank you for coming together. That's a real honor. And then also there is Ishtiaq Gilkar, Director of Indian Center in Republic of Tatarstan, Russia.
I would like to thank Alatra for the opportunity they gave me. My message is very simple. Once we want to live, have the life, we have to survive on this planet Earth, which till now is the only place to exist. And we must remember that we came from the same universal grain. So how come we today fight in the name of humanity, killing each other, fighting for something which will not take us to the good place. I mean the heaven, what the religions say us. So first of all, we are humans. And our religion and our faith should be humanity. 50 million people died in the Second World War. Isn't that enough? There are a lot of examples in the world which show us that we are not doing the right things. We have to change our mindset. We have to love this planet like our family, like our children, and grow it in a proper way. We are responsible for the future of this planet. No matter what is the name of the country, the name of the religion, the name of the person, we are all existing on this planet. We should understand that all of us today, with the help of Alatra and the mass media, can show the light in the darkness to change this last chance by spreading the message that life and our planet is the only precious thing which we have from the nature. So let's not destroy it.
Today, you can really see how false images are being imposed on us about representatives of different religions. For example, Islam is the religion of love. It is the last and the newest religion. And what has been done to the image of Islam today? Because of the newest private interests, Islam has been given an image that it is something that we should be afraid of. Today, the topic of Islam is extremely acute. We all know about ISIS that has been artificially created and promoted as a business project. The topic of Islam is used for future profit speculations with the goal of solving their private commercial interests, and has created such hatred and fear of Islam. In actuality, it is a beautiful and wonderful religion. This beauty and love is also revealed and proven by the Universal Grain Project. Islam is love. Islam is billions of people. And we're being shown a bunch of people who are far from being true Muslims, who create crime and spread horror for money. Where is the other billion of true Muslims? Why are they keeping silent when their religion is being degraded? Where are those neighbors of those Muslim people that know that Muslims are nice, wonderful, and honest people? But there are people who stand up for the honor of Islam. We would like to show a short video on this topic. It is a clip from a video, Islam, the Religion of Love, on Alatra TV.
Just a few years ago, in the midst of active, cruel, and anti-humane activities of terrorist organizations that attributed themselves to Islam but didn't and still don't have anything to do with it, with true Islam. So then, in the midst of the activities of these organizations, when mass media all over the world was slinging mad at Islam, and when so-called Muslims were silent, meekly accepting all this, Imam Mahdi spoke on television. He made a speech on Alatra TV to the whole world that Islam is the most peaceful religion, that Islam is the religion of love. One human stood up to the defense of the entire billion. He defended Islam and told the truth. Muslims all over the world need to know about this. They need to know that one person came out in the defense of entire Islam, And today, the mission of all Muslims in the world is to unite around this person in order for Islam to revive and stop being a camel who has laid down its head and it is wagging its tail. It's necessary to accept the knowledge of Allah, to begin to live by it, and to tell everyone about it. Share this truth with all those people who, by the will of Allah, surround us, to be open and ready to accept the leadership of Mahdi. As it is stated in the Hadith, heaven is intended to the one who will accept his leadership.
And right now, we would like to pass the microphone to Shireen from Canada. We would love to hear a few words from you, Shireen.
I am originally from Kyrgyzstan, and my grandfather was Imam. So from my early childhood, I know in practice that true Islam is love. That's why I am very happy that Allah shows the true Islam. Also, I would like to mention that in Islam, women are being treated with great love and respect. And I have noticed that most of the speakers today are women, because woman is a mother, and she is on the beginning of creation. That's why we need to follow her. Thank you.
Thank you, Shireen. We would like to welcome Imam Taijul Islam from London. He's an Imam of King's Cross Mosque and Islamic Cultural Center.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وقال الله تعالى في آية آخر لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. My respected leaders and brothers, I want to talk to you about love of Allah and about love of human from our religious book Al-Quran, from talk of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I recited to you a verse of Quran. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah said in this verse, I created every human and I glorified every human. That is not Muslim, that is not Christian, that is not Hindu. Allah said, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Son of Adam. Adam is first man of the world. We are son of Adam. Our relationship is brother and sister. And our beloved Prophet said in his Holy Hadith, Khadmatul Khalq. It means helping people, not helping Muslim, not helping Mu'min, helping people. He will be white, he will be black, he will be Indian, he will be Asian, he will be European. Every human helping is the ibadah. Another hadith of our Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khairul ashabi indallah khairuhum li sahibihi wa khairul jirani indallah khairuhum li jarihi. The best companion to Allah is the best to his companion. And the best neighbor to Allah is the best to his neighbor. It is a wonderful hadith, an authentic hadith. It is from Musnad Ahmad, number is 1944. Our beloved Prophet said in this hadith, friend will be any people Who is best to his friend? He is best to Allah. So how we will befriend each other? Only one way. The way is love. Without love, nobody will not never will befriend each other. I want to talk about jihad. Somebody asked me about jihad. Islam is terrorist. Islam don't love people. It is the wrong understanding. You know, there is a chapter in our Quran, in our Hadith, is jihad. What is the jihad? Somebody understood jihad means fighting. No. Jihad means to spend your strength to good something for this world. It means to do good something for this world, for your society, for your area, for your local masjid, for your local school, for your friend, for your brother, sister. This is jihad. Jihad means fighting. It is not correct. Our beloved Prophet said many, many times, do jihad. Spend your strength to do good something for the human. I request to the people of the Al-Ultra who are showing me or our message, please send this message about the jihad. Jihad is not fighting. We don't support the fight. Our duty is just convey our message, which is good for the human, which is right for the human. This is our duty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what are to his beloved messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Balligh, alaw kana min ayah. Balligh. O Prophet, you just convey the message. You don't force the people to enter the Islam, to accept the Islam. Allah said another verse in the Holy Quran, La ikraha fid din. Forcing is not allowed in the Islam. So, thank you, Allah, to give me the chance to talk about our love of Islam. Thank you all.
Thank you, Imam Tajul. Thank you for telling us about the true meaning of Islam. Now we'll hear from the chairman and mufti of the Islamic League of the Republic of Moldova, Sergei Sakirka.
Dear friends, let me welcome you with the greetings of Islam. Peace be upon you, the mercy and blessings of Allah. Allah Almighty says in the Quran, O mankind, indeed, we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. This is a message to all people, and it indicates the importance for us to recognize this world, to learn the traditions and customs of different nations, different nationalities, to build good relationships among people on the basis of mutual respect and tolerance, to support and love each other, avoiding bias on the basis of equality. There are many stereotypes about Islam in the world, and one of them is that Islam is intolerant towards other religions, that the Quran preaches violence. In fact, Islam calls for believing in all the prophets of the world and to treat every faith with great respect. The root of the word Islam is salam, which means peace, love. Allah the Almighty says in the Quran, there shall be no compulsion in acceptance of the religion. Therefore, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. These words oblige all Muslims and affirm respectful attitude towards other religions in general and towards a human being in particular. In Islam, all the prophets were brothers by faith. They all came with one message: believe that God is one, strive for good, and beware of doing evil. We, Muslims, believe that whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it, and whoever does an atom's weight of evil will see it. Each of us has the right of choice, and we choose good. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dr. Mohammed Bahri, Doctor of Law, Master of Comparative Law, lawyer, business developer, professional, writer, and poet.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This means peace be upon you and mercy from God to you. This is the original and continuing greeting of Islam to all creatures. Can you imagine love without peace and mercy? The French philosopher Descartes said one day, I am thinking, so I am existing. But I would like to share with you another vision. I love, so I am human being. I believe that love is deeper than being just a feeling or emotion between male and female, or halal and haram. Love is a positive energy that nourishes a man and makes him good with God and his brothers and sisters in humanity. Energy is like electricity. It has multiple uses, but its source is one. No one denies that the harmony of man with God and the universe calls love. Islam came with two messages of love and peace, which is the message that governs the relationship of man in his relationship with his Lord and all his creatures. When you are described as an understanding, tolerant, and forgiving, you mean Islam. And thus, you are a true lover. The true Muslim is a true lover, and the true lover is a Muslim by nature. Islam is the religion of love. True Islam can be viewed as a practical spiritual treatment of the hearts and the souls of human beings, regardless of their colors, religions, and nationalities. Let us love. Let's understand the truth of the rules of Islam. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bakri. We're very glad you can join us today. Now we have Morocco is next. Now Manal Amai, a student of Tafel University from Kenitra, Morocco.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Manal Amai. I'm 19 years old, college student from Morocco. And we are also honored to be part of this conference about saving humanity and spreading love and peace all among the world. And it's a good thing to see among all this bad news, but we do have some other good news that make us happy about being human and living all on this planet. Millions of people around the world are calling for justice, sharing, and also love. And no other solution will work until the people of goodwill throughout the world rise up in unison together. Because the true power is togetherness and sharing among millions of people, which is creative and healing in a worldwide scale. When the heart is opened with love, it can be only called for sharing. When all the nations come together and share the resource of the world, we can make the world better. I will conclude my speech by a verse from Quran. It says, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. It means we have created you all out of a male and a female and have made you into a nation and tribes so that you may come to know one another. I think this verse of Quran can resume all what I said about Indian people of working together and spread love and peace. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Manal. We're happy you could join us.
Often people ask a question, whether it's possible to unite religions. It is possible to unite the believers only. And Allatra proved it. So right now here, we are representatives of different cultures and religions, and we are together. But religions, as organizations, cannot be united, because it's just simply impossible to unite business organizations. The only way you can overtake it. How can we rely on a religion that should unite if the religions themselves divide us? As human beings, we do not need to wait for the unification of religions. God is one, and we love Him. All religions contain universal grain of knowledge that unites us all. But as an organization, without believers, they are faceless. They have competition, but we, as believers, we are united in the love of God and respect to each other. We respect all prophets. This is confirmed by the Universal Grain Project. We are all people. We are one big family.
And right now, I would like to introduce Anna from Kyiv, Ukraine, who is the coordinator of the Universal Grain Project.
Greetings from the Coordination Center of Allatra International Public Movement, which is situated in Kyiv, Ukraine. It is a great honor for us to be participating in such a huge event, which is happening first time in history. Universal Grain is a project which has actually proved that believers of different denominations, they do not consider each other enemies. We consider each other friends. We consider each other one people who really aspire towards one thing, towards love. And we all realize that God's love is what unites us. Universal Grain has proved it, that no matter whatever the person lives, whatever religion he belongs to, he really does feel this importance of humanness in this world. And he really does feel that we as humans, we want to do something towards changing this world into a better vector, into a vector of creative society, not a consumer society. And in thousands of interviews in more than 180 countries in the world, participants of Allatra International Public Movement have talked to people personally. They have made thousands of videos where people personally have said it, that we want to live in love, we want to live in peace. We want to show as much people as we can, actually. We want to show as much opinion as possible to actually bring this truth to life, that we people, we are not enemies. It is just an illusion which is being manipulated to us because it is easy to control it that way. But we people, the ones which are good, which are simple people around the world, nobody wants war. We all want peace. We all want love, and we want to share this love with each other. We want to cognize each other from the best way we can, and we are ready to do something for this. Thank you so much for the word. I'm bringing forward back to Atlanta.
Thank you, Anna. And the Universal Grain Project is incredible. It has united so many people around the world already, and this is just the beginning. And right now, I would like to give the microphone to Olga Koftan from Michigan.
I'm a mother of two that does not want to see her children killed. On the other hand, the statistics shows the opposite. Billions are killed and a huge number of wars. What for? Natural resources? There are many religious organizations and governmental institutions that are aimed at human consolidation. However, we live in the 21st century, in constant conflicts with each other, in wars, and even fights with family members. There are many intergovernmental organizations, such as the United Nations, that declare values that it does not keep in reality. We are all in a war. We are all separated by wars. We are in conflicts, and we are in a war, not in peace. The same can be said about religions and politics. We are being told that we have to fight some type of enemy on the outside, and that we ourselves have to be someone else's enemy.
Thank you, Olga. We would like to give the word to Sean Brooks, an anthropologist from Indiana.
Yeah, thank you, Olga. That's very insightful. And to continue on that, I would like to talk about false patriotism. Today, we're seeing history being rewritten in front of our eyes in favor of certain political elites, and we can see examples of that all over the world. We are dictated and told that we must believe that we must exalt ourselves over other people and exalt ourselves over other nations. This is all to separate us, not only from the world, but from each other, and separate nations as well. We must stand together. We are one family. We are one united group, and we know this. We know inside that no one is better or above anyone else. We must be patriots for each other. Too often we see one nation saying that they're better than the other, and then what comes after that? War, conflict. We seek out to destroy that nation as an inferior being. And then we often see other nations impose themselves on other nations. But who imposes this, and why do we have such imposition going on between different countries? And you notice that we don't see a sharing of love and respect and dignity for other nations, but instead we're told that we need to be better than them and that they're our enemy. But this is false. We are one family again, one humanity, and we need to be patriots for each other. Also, we've seen this growing influx of heroism and this idea of being a hero. But what is this really about? It's the popularization of death and heroism in a society that already has too much of it. Instead, we need to unite and recognize that the real true heroes are the heroes for all mankind. Please remember that the system acts through us. It has no tongue, no hands, and if we kill someone in the name of money, it is not it who kills. It's we, the people, who kill. As the system works through us, through our thoughts and our actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Next, we'll hear from Christian from New Zealand. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning. Hello, world. Pleasure to be with you. I want to talk briefly on international entities. Are they friend or foe? Every day we hear of a new report coming from one of these credible supranational bodies, the UN Security Council, the IMF, or perhaps the IPCC, all of which seem to own the truth and demand the final say. Settling the matter once and for all, no more questions asked. Trust us, they say. Where do they get their information? Outside institutes or internally? Who funds them? Is the content correct? Do their conclusions serve the truth and our best interests? Or does it serve someone else's? I suggest these entities serve just a few, with control, greed, and power their goal, helped along by propaganda and misinformation. Despite their best efforts, we can still see clearly. We know that primarily, and most importantly, we are all human beings. That secondly, and of lesser importance, each one of us is of a specific race or gender. And thirdly, we know that all of us have the freedom of choice and to identify with any group we please. With the primary in mind, what do we human beings want? I suggest our desires are classic and timeless, common to all peoples, both past and present. We want freedom, joy, family, health, love, and respect. Unfortunately, when not aware, we are easily divided. I see constant examples of division driven and amplified by the mass media, dividing the sexes, pitching women against men, dividing religions, pitching one against the other, and even the division of generations, provoking the young against the old. Division delivers fragmentation and weakness. The only hope for any group, be it a family or all of humanity, is unity, and this can be our choice. Let's rate Earth's present leadership by its results. All those high-level talks, global summits, and those very important banquets. But still, no change. We realize, despite being fed the opposite narrative, that for every difference we may have with someone of different sex, skin color, race, or creed, we actually have numerous similarities. Parents, brothers, sisters, hopes and dreams. The list is truly endless. We are indeed one. If we could just switch off the noise, their message, the noise coming from the few, is division through fear. Our message, coming from the multitudes, is unity through love and respect. We simply need to stop listening to them, their media empires, and their self-interest entities, and move to a completely new mode of thinking. A mode of thinking that moves us away from the narrowing, selfish, competitive, and forever wanting consumer format to something inclusive and expansive. A format championed by honesty, responsibility, kindness, mutual respect, courage, and love. We need not fight them. We need not take up arms, not riot, nor seek revenge. We simply must turn our backs, stop participating in their productions, stop wasting our attention on their election campaigns and their manufactured fear campaigns. We must go our own way. We must put trust in ourselves. If it's to be, it's up to us. Thank you.
Yes, we must remember that the most important resource we have is attention and time. Thank you, Christian. And right now we will watch a short video clip from the program Climate, The Future is Now, with the participation of Igor Mikhailovich Danilov, who is an ALLATRA IPM participant.
What do people have to do in order for the golden millennium to come, for this to happen?
They have to become people, free from the beast dictatorship. That's what's important. Do you know what the other trouble is? I would say that everything negative that is imposed in our society is done by less than 1% of the total population. These are the people who are completely controlled by consciousness as part of the system. Or to put it simply, these are the ones who are manipulated by the devil. However, they are very active and very loud, while more than 99% of people are passive. And there are a lot fewer of them. There are a lot fewer people who are more or less spiritually free. More or less, I emphasize. Those who feel do understand, but they, like the remaining 98%, well, even more than 98, are also passive. But if all people stop being silent, then everything would change. And no matter how those other ones would shout and make noise, then, as they say, their screams would not be heard in our whispering. Isn't it so? Well, again, it's impossible to make a choice instead of people. A human is free in his choice. This is the highest gift that a being like a human can gain. This is the right of choice. To live or to die.
You know, it's as if consciousness underestimates the role of people who can all unite.
People can do a lot, and nothing prevents them from gaining unity. Absolutely nothing but thoughts in their head, coming from the devil. Nothing else.
Today, we are gathered all together, people of different nationalities, different religions. Joining us today are people from all over the world. Do we want someone to destroy us? Of course not. Then why do we keep on making nuclear weapons? Why do we have the doomsday clock, which represents the likelihood of the man-made self-destruction? Right now, the clock is 2 minutes to midnight, where midnight represents the complete destruction of mankind. Do we want these 2 minutes to expire? Who will press these buttons? People just like us. And we made this clock. We made the nuclear missiles. Why do we want to kill ourselves? Who benefits from it, and what imposes these thoughts? After all, there are billions of us. Why do we need this clock? So that we can constantly live in fear? So we can count down the time until it'll be the end? After all, we can remove the clock. Does anyone see a benefit in it? The ones that believe that they can press the button think that they can manipulate billions, while they themselves have the exact same problems. How can a person see the benefit of a nuclear explosion that will kill the whole civilization? Who imposes these thoughts on a person? The main point is that it's time to remove the clock. We are the people who brought the society 2 minutes to midnight. Whether the clock will remain or we will remove it depends on us, depends on what we support in our head. After all, who is killing? Is there some kind of they who kill? Those they are us. It is us people that make the nuclear weapons. We continue making it, and then we transport them 2 minutes before people destroy themselves with nuclear weapons, which they made with their own hands. Isn't that nonsense? After all, it won't start by itself. If it's not beneficial for us, then to whom? Who among these present here wants this? Who creates the images of enemies when we don't want it? Who imposes this information on us, and for what reason? Who is this manipulator that imposes fear on us through information, and for what purpose? Isn't it a small group of people who reap the profits from it? Because they believe that they control everything, our thoughts, their actions, but who controls their thoughts? After all, it only takes one madman to press that button in this madness. They themselves are sure there will be no war, but somewhere, someone can launch a nuclear missile, one rocket, because of the story that we are enemies to one another. One moron can start an apocalypse. They think they have everything under control, but one lunatic is enough to start a nuclear mass destruction.
Here are gathered thousands of people from around the world. Let's ask them, who wanted? Nobody wants. Right now, we are on the verge of a global nuclear conflict. But why? Because two red-haired guys couldn't get along? And because of that, we are being told that we are enemy to each other. They say Russia wants to kill us. And today, we have a nice opportunity to ask people from Russian Federation, can you please tell us, do you really want to kill us? People of America.
We don't want to kill you. We don't want to live in war. We want peace, and we want to live in love, respect, and friendship. Is there someone who wants to kill them? Есть ли здесь кто-то, кто хочет их убить? Поднимите руку. There is no one. Здесь нет никого, кто хочет вас убить.
Great news. Thank you, Russia. And we fully agree with you that no one wants aggression. So why are we being forced to believe that there is an enemy out there and we need to hate and kill them? People have no complaints. Complain those who cannot split one wallet and power over us. But not to mention, this wallet is ours. Is not that nonsense? It sounds like a very bad diagnosis, and it looks like that disease can really kill us, and very soon, if we do not unite. Or did these two red-haired gentlemen did not share a hamburger or something like that, and billions of us suffered? Guys, come on. We have enough hamburgers and Coca-Cola for everyone. Why do we have wars in which we pointlessly die? Who is responsible? Who is to blame? Let's have these two leaders join us and tell us why they want to kill us. Are they guilty? Or maybe somebody else wants to kill us. If they say they're not guilty, wonderful. Let them show who is guilty. Right now, they're blaming Assad. It's also fine with us. We can invite Assad and let him tell us whether he wants to kill us or not. Let's get together as a big human family and invite all our leaders and ask them, what are they doing? Terrorizing or saving us? To this conference, we invited leaders from the United States of America and Russian Federation. But they ignore us. They didn't come. Even though we wrote, called, they didn't join us. Why? Because who are we? Just people, just millions of people who want peace. But if billions of us will get together on the second Saturday of May next year, they will have to come and they will listen to us. Today is the second Saturday of May. In 1 year, let's get together. And if the top government officials are that lazy, then they don't want to come down to the regular people, fine. Let's connect them through internet. They can still stay comfortable in their chairs, in their offices, and connect through internet. And look into the eyes of the world community, even through their monitors. But they will have to answer our questions if we will get together. Because we really would like to find out, really, that they want to kill us and why. After all, we can already clearly see what is happening in the world today. Wars which are being financed, all the manipulation with fear, and now everything that is getting out of control, and we are starting to understand. The technologies of manipulation and control are glitching right now. And we want to ask them, just as people, same as us, do they really want to kill the whole civilization? But what about their own children? Are they ready to see them die? Or maybe they don't understand that one nuclear explosion means the end of the whole civilization. But this is our last chance. And right now, we have right to ask this question. Why did we start this conversation about the clock that is showing 2 minutes to midnight? Because the situation right now is such that either politician will kill us or climate will do that. But is there a way out? Yes. If we all really unite, we will prove that we are worthy family, that really want to have future for our children and worthy life for us. But if we don't gather all together, then we are satisfied with what they are doing right now, that they are killing us with our own hands, lead us to self-destruction, and that the clock is 2 minutes to midnight. Then we agree that this is end, and we are ready to die. We are people of the world. Doesn't matter who we are, Americans, Russians, Chinese, Indian, doesn't matter. We all are people, and we all are part of one big family. And we need to unite. And today, it is absolutely possible. Each of us can share this information further with our friends, family, and colleagues, and they will share it with their friends, family, and colleagues. Let us prove that the rule of 6 handshakes really works. It means that all people are 6 social connection away from each other. If all of us speak up, they will hear us. If we were able to create nuclear missile and bring this clock towards midnight, that means we are capable to create such a technology to connect all people starting from the North Pole to the South Pole. We need to make this information open for everybody in the world, so everybody can know that on the 2nd Saturday of May, there is a possibility for all people to connect and talk about what our future is gonna be. And we also need to invite all our leaders, because this is our chance. We, people, are not delegating power to them. We are delegating responsibility to them. Let's choose those who are for peace, who are really for us, here and now, who feel that they are part of us, human family, those who take responsibility and not power over us. We people of all countries will vote for leaders who really create conditions for safety, but not those who protect us from people just like us with the cost of our own lives. Let's not make heroes out of people who are heroes for one country and killers for another. Real heroes are heroes for the whole humanity. We are not morons. We understand that wars are organized in order to earn money, and we, taxpayers, finance it. But guys, maybe it's time to earn on something else and not on our lives. We don't want them to have financial loss. Let us just redirect it. We can put the economy on a different track. Let's have our taxes used towards the development of science, for the development of space, oceans, improving the ecology of the planet. Let them do what will be really useful for us. There is a lot of technologies that could be implemented and on which they can still earn money. So, on these taxes, let the same smart people build serious devices for space and ocean exploration. And pharmaceutical companies, of course, still can earn on the same fact that we will stay healthy. So, that's our life, and we can put our taxes towards something good and not towards our destruction. We, as a humanity, can put all the military industry on a different track. Instead of killing ourselves, put these resources towards exploring the space and ocean. That is where the real heroes are needed. This sphere is full of risk, and we will be proud of them. Let us explore neighborhood planets, and they can continue messing with us and scare us with some aliens. And we are fine with that. It is much better to be afraid of an alien than of your neighbor. Right now, they're keeping us afraid and making us perceive each other as enemies. Make us put our trust on the rulers who supposedly will protect us. Will they really protect us? Or are we protecting ourselves from the people just like us with the cost of our own lives? We are one family. We love and respect each other. It is them who cannot divide spheres of influence, territories, and power among themselves. But we people treat each other well. And when billions of us get together again on the 2nd Saturday of May, they will hear us and will respect us. After all, we are the ones who choose them, and we want respect from them and honesty. Only together we can reverse a consumer format. The economy can be developed peacefully. Money can earn peacefully. Politicians gather together to decide on how to manipulate and divide the world society. Most of the time, we don't know about it. And then we find out about their decisions and conclusions that were already made. There is no hatred between people. We are now gathered here, people of the world from the huge number of countries, and we have no complaints towards each other. Why are they afraid of overpopulation? Not because the earth cannot support everyone, but because it becomes difficult to control us. But to be honest, it is already hard to control us. We all want to live in a good world. If we don't create it, then who will? So let's get together, all together, the whole humanity, and openly raise this question. How can we all unite? And we invite the government officials to join us. Let's set the date for the second Saturday of May, a year from today. Let's share the information about the event in mass media and all social networks. Do all that we can do on a global scale. This is our last chance. We can remove the clock, we can live happily. But if we decide not to use this opportunity to unite, then why do we need to wait for these 2 last minutes to expire? We can move these hands on the clock right now. The future of the world will depend on us. And we understand that we cannot influence climate change, but we can change the relationship between us, human. So let's meet on the second Saturday of May next year and together choose the path for our civilization. This is our last chance.
Right now we'll hear from Alexander from Germany.
Greetings from Germany. After hearing all this information, especially the last speech, we understand that this information is very important and really concerns everyone. Everyone wants to live in a world full of love, without wars, without suffering. Everyone has this feeling of unity inside ourselves. And this is a unique opportunity to talk to our leaders honestly and openly, to talk to people who are in the government, to talk to people who make the important decisions about the life of our planet. Actually, those people who want wars, they can conquer Moon, they can conquer Mars or any other cosmic body, but do not touch our lives. Right now, we are thousands of people sitting here. But if we tell this information to everyone who we know or who we don't know, we can bring together billions of people and sit together on one table as a family. Thank you. I pass my word to Antonina.
Today's global conference is not just talking, but acting in fact. We see a lot of partners, supporters of this event, making this conference happen and real. So we would like to express our gratitude to everyone, to all active people making this event happen. So everything is possible when we think and act in a creative way. Today's conference, it is an amazing day. It is really amazing event and much has been done. But this is not enough. If we want to gather more people, to gather everyone, we need to do more. We have to be more. So let's gather all our potential, all our resources, everything we are capable of. So we need really millions of people, active people. We need professionals, we need scientists, we need socially active people who want to participate and make our world better. So we need to partner on a global scale. We need to gather all our best ideas to come up with technical solutions and find new ways of gathering people so that in 1 year could gather our entire human family. ALLATRA platform is already gathering a lot of people and it is realizing a lot of creative projects. We are ready to grow. So let us make good in action for our future's sake. Thank you.
Next, we have Odessa, Ukraine. Dmitry?
I agree with everything we have discussed today. We face that nowadays we only talk about the ideal and humane society. But what do we do to create it in practice? You're completely right that it's enough to keep quiet and act like sheep. Politics is the art of lying, and politicians, in fact, are only actors on a public stage, no more than that. So if they cannot find an exit from this dead end, we, people of the world, can help them. We can help each other. We can use modern technologies to implement the plan. We do not have to come in person and sit at one table. Nowadays, we can use internet, social networks like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to reach as many people as possible. So let's get in touch with politicians, government workers, and members of international organizations and bring them to our next discussion in a year. You're completely right. They're also part of the society. The only difference is that they have more responsibilities. Let's sit together and create a plan how to use all the possible resources for the benefit of our civilization. No more resources should be spent for killing us. If we want tomorrow to live in a better world, we have to start to do real steps today. We need to unite all our efforts and be friends with each other regardless of nationality and all the differences that we have. So, indeed, ALLATRA unites. Today we are thousands, and next year we will become billions. We join this initiative and see you next year. Giving back a word to Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you, Odessa. Right now, we'd like to give a word to the Russian Federation. Masha?
Greetings from Moscow, Russia. And thank you everyone who is today online with us. We totally agree with everything said today, and we totally support the unification of people in friendship, love, and respect. Friends, people of the whole world, let's go and say to our loved ones, to our friends, colleagues, and partners about what we understood today, and about that we want to meet in exactly 1 year the whole planet. Let's use all possible kind of technologies, all possible means of communication, internet, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, Skype, and Zoom, and others, in order to chat, talk, and meet together during this year in order to realize this international common, the whole world call in exactly 1 year. As far as we know today, there is still no such technology that can allow the whole planet to connect together in one common call, billions of people. But we can design this technology. Among us, there are people who has high qualification, and they can help us to develop this technology. Among us, people of the world, there are scientists, there are directors of large corporations, there are people who travels around the world, there are people who work on radio and televisions. Let's carry this message and let's do everything possible and to apply all our knowledge and all our experience in order to realize this international call after exactly 1 year.
Thank you, Russian Federation. Now we would like to pass the word to Switzerland.
Very happy to greet you from Geneva, Switzerland. It's a great honor to take part in this historical event and to speak up for the people of all the world. And this is an amazing example how we people can gather together and stand by each other and speak up for the problems we are all worried about. All the questions we raised today are crucial for every human being. And I'm really looking forward to see all of us in 1 year with the results of real actions which can improve our world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alina. Thank you. Right now, next is the United Kingdom.
Greetings from the United Kingdom. You know, we've been listening to every speaker very carefully, and it's impossible to overstate the importance of the points which have been brought up during this conference. They are important for the whole mankind, and we humans indeed have been playing for too long, and we all should agree that that's enough. We should stop before it's too late. We should all refuse to believe that humanity has chosen sorrowful existence instead of full life. If we continue playing, the end of the game will follow very quickly. The game will be just over for everyone. We here in the United Kingdom, we agree that instead of being involved in wars, conflicts, fighting for resources, fighting for power, we should direct all our unstoppable energy, all our sharpness of mind, flashing creativity, our in-depth knowledge and vast experience, and what's more important, our mutual thirst for life. We should direct all this at the revival of the true humaneness in the society. We all agree here that we should unite in actions. We should start socializing at all levels openly. There is no shade of doubt that in a year we should meet at the worldwide round table where we should forget about our titles, forget about the roles we play and about the masks we wear. We should finally start talking to each other as true and equal humans. But during this year, we cannot sit on our hands and wait for the next conference. We should stop keeping silence. We should act. Today, now is time to act. To act with open mind and open heart. It's easy and joyful, you should agree. Let's start talking to our relatives, talking to our friends, to our colleagues. Let's express our opinions in social media and at social events. Let's email organizations, authorities, officials. Let's start raising questions together and start looking for answers to these questions together. Let's put solutions into life together. Unity has amazing power to change the world. Good begets good. So friends, in a year of amazing positive changes, we should meet again to make another jump towards the truly worthy society. We can do this together. It's time to act. Many thanks to all speakers. Many thanks to everyone. Let's just love each other. Thank you.
Thank you, London. And I also would like to thank all for joining today's conference. We sincerely hope to see the whole humanity in 1 year on the second Saturday of May. For this to happen, much depends on everyone who is here today, who is listening to us now. Coming from a basic understanding of this important issue, every time you look in the mirror, ask yourself, what have you done to make the world of tomorrow better? And when looking into the eyes of your friends and relatives, ask yourself, what have you done to make the world a better place for them? Right now, up on your screens, you can see different methods of communication we can use to connect with each other. Let's share ideas how we can build the society that we really want. Contact us with your initiatives and ideas on who can help and how we can create together. I also would like to bring your attention to this fact that this initiative has to be done solely on a voluntarily basis only, and everyone can participate. Everyone should participate, because the question concerns all of us, all of mankind. After all, we know the concept of 6 handshakes. Now, we will tell our friends and relatives in their circles to connect to the whole world on the second Saturday of May. We invite everybody present at all countries and cities and all who hear us today. At the end of this event, please share your vision. Share what do you think, what can we do to make this world better. We can share this right now in our social networks with the hashtag #ALLATRA Unites. Share interviews with #ALLATRA IPM participants. They are already waiting for you in many different locations around the world. Share it and exchange with each other. We can answer the question individually and collectively. What can we do now so that the changes really take place? We can only do this together. And we sincerely hope to see you next year. Thank you so much.